Hello, I'm Lauren Jin, and today I'm going to be talking you through my concept for rebranding Teatro Puccini. We're going to start by sort of going over what we're going to talk about. I'm going to tell you about my initial concept, show you some exploration that I did, then show you some iteration, walk you through my process of choosing the typography for the system, and then finally show you some actual applications of my visual identity. So, to give a little background on the theater itself, Teatro Puccini is sort of a unique theater because one, you can see the exterior is really unique, and then two, you can see well, you can't see, but the theater is most known for being, quote unquote, the stable theater of satire and contamination of genres. So the theater puts on a wide variety of different shows. They're known for a lot of the satirical shows that they put on, but they do put on a huge range of shows ranging from, ballet to concerts to comedy shows to just like movie screenings. Um, and so my four main takeaways that I wrote down when I first initially went that I wanted to convey with this new identity is that one, the theater is most known for its unusual exterior, so I wanted to incorporate that into my concept. Two, I wanted to give off that sort of satirical, humorous edge to the theater. Three, I wanted to showcase how diverse the theater is, and allude to a lot of the different genres of plays they put on. And four, I wanted to give it that modern sense, how it's more of a contemporary theater. And then moving on, here were my initial sketches that I created. So when I first got there, I kind of just wanted to get myself familiar with the theater, so I began sketching the exterior. As you can see here, I did a lot of sketches with the exterior, breaking that down, seeing how I could potentially use, the different blocks, the texture of the building on the outside to convey some sort of, I don't know, logo. And from there, I sort of moved on to more abstract ways that I could show off my four main key takeaways. So showing off how it's a modern theater, it's satirical, it's diverse, and also just the exterior is really unique. From there, I began doing some sketches. I actually started off with this one, which was a very sort of simple take on the exterior, and the different segments here show off the diverse range of plays they put on. I did a lot of experimenting with different ideas and sketches, but then I sort of circled back to the original logo of the original logo, which is here, of the theater. And there were a lot of things that I quite liked about that, but I just didn't think it was getting across the the real sort of identity of the theater. So I began to explore that idea, of using the type to convey that sense of modernity, diversity, and the satirical sort of aspect of it. So I began to do like chop up the words to see if I could do something with stacking to show off the height also of the tower. These two ideas here were also two ideas that I really liked. I wanted to sort of contrast the traditional, like a traditional typeface, a serif typeface, with this sort of sliced modern take, showing that satirical edge and also the stacking. And here were two really quick mock-ups that I did. Got some feedback on it, and then ended up going with this sort of idea, but I knew it wasn't quite where I wanted it to be, so I sort of began to flesh it out more with some more iterations of the logo. I wanted to really emphasize that, the height of the building and also the diversity. I know I keep saying that, but that was really the main things that I wanted to get across here. So I added these blocks next to the type to show off that height and the different range and diversity that they have at the theater. Then I began to look for the typeface because this is a sort of a logo type. There is a mark, but also it's very very reliant on the type itself because the type translates into the actual system that I've created that I'll talk about later. So I wanted a typeface that wasn't too bold because I think a lot of the times bold typefaces can lend themselves to sort of having a comedic edge. But I wanted the identity to still come across as sophisticated and modern and contemporary. And I wanted a font family that had a wide variety of different, not only line weights but also like type widths. And I finally came across Nimbus Sans that had a really, really clean edge to the words and also had a variety of different weights and styles that could be used across the board. Because I did want to incorporate the idea of stacking type to showcase that height, but also to showcase the diversity. Um, so finally here, I'm going to show you some of the actual applications that I've done. To start, we have just the logo. I sort of got rid of the red from the original logo because I wanted the visual identity to be more simple and concise because that is what satire is often built upon. It's dry humor. It's very, cut to the chase. And I wanted to convey that. Also, I wanted to keep it more simple, black and white, to convey that sense of modernity and contemporariness. So here we have the ticket mock-ups that I've made. I wanted to make the tickets more on the minimalistic side and more based on the images that the museum provides for each of the different acts, because I think satire, as I said before, is very, cut to the chase. It's dry. There's a little bit of mystery to it. It always leaves you wondering, was that serious? Was that fake? And I wanted the tickets to kind of have that vibe where, you don't really know what you're getting yourself into. You wonder when you look at the photo, what is this? Like, what could the show actually be about? So I wanted it to have that sort of vibe. Here are some actual applications of the visual, the system itself. So you can see here how I'm using the typography as a system to convey this visual identity. Here I've, not only varied the widths of the type, but also there's a lot of repetition and stacking, which lends itself to my original concept of showing the exterior and the diversity. These are just different ways that you can apply the visual identity. All of the type here is from the same font family, so it's from Nimbus Sans. Here is an example of where I'm using this behavior that you see in the logo where I, slice the type in half and then stack it here to showcase that height. It's bold, the type is bold, but it's also very sophisticated because I have limited the color palette. So that's sort of, here's another little mock-up that I made. That's sort of what I was going for, using the scale of the type and the repetition to convey that sense of, boldness, modernity, sophistication, while also having like a hint of humor, a little bit of satire in it as well. And then finally, we have this fun little tote bag, which just has the original logo on it. And that's pretty much it. I really hope you enjoyed.